A park ranger stands front-facing in uniform of a tan flat hat, gray shirt, and green trousers. The ranger stands in a large grassy field. In the distance is a row of trees.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Loomis. I'm a ranger here at the Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park. Thank you for joining us as we commemorate the 157th anniversary of the Battle of Chickamauga. Now, there are many ways that we think about the Civil War. Brother versus brother, father versus son, the North versus the South. There's a very important way that we need to think about this war, and that is those who are enslaved versus those who enslaved them and the institution of slavery itself. When the war begins and Union armies begin moving south, that institution immediately begins to break up as people who had been enslaved begin to run to those Union lines. Many of them are seeking shelter for their families who are being sold south. Many of them are rebelling against the long work days and grueling working conditions that they are forced to endure, and the physical abuse that they endure sometimes on a daily basis. The explicit goal of many of these peoples is not necessarily to fight within the Union Army, but they know that this war could bring about their freedom, and they are determined to have their say in that process. Thomas Coles is one of those individuals. Thomas runs away from the plantation on which he was enslaved, and he stops being, as he says, quote, the loyal slave. He says, I was going to a free country, the North, where there wasn't no slaves. His goal, again, is basically to just get out of the South. However, he is captured by the Union Army and interrogated, they thinking that he may be a spy. Once they determine that he is not somebody who is trying to spy on them, they put him to work on a cannon crew. He says, quote, I had to help with the cannons, but I got plenty to eat. Now I felt important and I got off and got me a real man's job, and the rest of the slaves back on the plantation working night and day. Again, this was not the path that Thomas had anticipated he was going to take, but he had to adapt to the circumstances as they came to them, and he tried to make the best of what his situation was. Again, Thomas doesn't really want to fight into combat. He even says if he ever thought he had to, or he could have seen what was coming, he would have run off again. However, on September 20th, Thomas Cole is going to find himself likely right in this area here, on the Dyer Ridge, as Major John Mendenhall tries to assemble a line of Union guns to repel Confederate attack. Thomas recalls, the next morning the rebels began shooting away at us again, and they were killing lots of our men too. General Wood had not come yet, so General Rosecrans ordered us to retreat, and he did not have to tell me what he said either. The rebels come after us shooting, and we run off and left that cannon I was sitting on the hill. Unknown to Thomas Coles, coming up this very same ridge is Robert Coles in the 4th Alabama Infantry. Robert Coles' family had enslaved Thomas Coles when they were both children, and Robert had treated Thomas more as a pet playmate than he did as any kind of actual true friend. Now Thomas and Robert are both on the same battlefield where they are capable of inflicting deadly damage against both of their bodies. However, the Confederates overrun this position, and Thomas recalls, I didn't want that cannon nohow. We kept hot-footing it until we got to Chattanooga, and there was where we stopped. Thomas will aid the Union Army during the siege of Chattanooga, and he will eventually settle in North Chattanooga after the war. But consider Thomas's journey to the point where I am standing now. Enslaved since birth, running away to seek freedom in the North, captured by the Union Army, put to work on a gun crew, and an active participant in the Battle of Chickamauga. As Thomas said, if he could have known what was going to happen, it would have changed his actions. Instead, in each of these situations, Thomas had to react and adapt as best as he could. Though many believed that they would someday reach freedom, there was no clear-cut path to the promised land. The opportunities that freed people encountered were not always planned for or predictable, but they had to maneuver through these experiences in ways that they believed best for them. Many were willing to cease working on plantations and cause work stoppages, persevere through dark nights as they ran north or towards the Union Army, and to fight on bloody battlefields throughout the South in order to make that freedom permanent.